Welcome to AirJobBoss TV. Today we have a continuation to our pilot interview question and answer series. And this question is, your FO shows up out of uniform or something or another, missing something or dressed like this. What do you do as a captain? Well, AirJobBoss does not show up to work like this. I will tell you that for sure, because companies have grooming and uniform policies, and just like every policy, those policies need to be adhered to just as much as putting the landing gear down before landing, right? And if a pilot cannot comply with a uniform policy, what other policies are they not complying with, right? So as a authority figure, as the captain in this case, because in this scenario, you are the captain and a first officer, for example, shows up without his epaulets on, without his hat, without his tie, without his wings on, and or some way out of, or not having his jacket. This is kind of common. Some airlines have jacket season, right? And jacket season is either from May Day to Halloween to May Day, October 31st to May Day, May 1st, or vice versa. And so those uniform policies ebb and flow. Hats are maybe optional, but at many airlines, and I know for my foreign viewers, believe it or not, in America, you do not need to wear your hat. It's not a requirement to wear your hat at almost every airline, with the exception of probably one. So it's really odd. America, we don't really dress in our full uniform. I don't know why. It's just the way we are. We've just culturally not accepted wearing our uniforms anymore, and that's the way it goes. And I comply with that just like everybody else. I comply with the uniform policy. So what do you do? What do you do as a captain? Now, the first thing you're not going to do is shut down the operation until that guy gets his act together. You're not going to do that. That's too extreme. You're going to assist this crew member, in getting fully uniformed. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to ask them why. Hey, first officer, where's your hat? Oh, and they're going to tell you, oh my gosh, I was driving to work. I put my hat on the top of the car. Before I got in the car, I drove all the way to work in the rain and the snow and the dirt and the mud, and I realized, oh my gosh, I never pulled it off, so it landed on the ground. It's back in my driveway, being covered with mud, snow, rain, grass cuttings, dog sniffers, all kinds of stuff, and I'm sorry, it was an accident. Oh, okay, that is reasonable, right? And your answer could be, well, what I would do is I would see if we're at an airport that has a uniform shop, or the chief pilot's office, or a crew member briefing room, or we can go and get him a hat to wear for that trip. Yeah, problem solved, question over, you get the job. Thank you, AirJobBoss. Okay, so ask why. That's the first thing. If he says something like, well, I just don't like to wear my hat. I don't wear hats. You're going to say, well, I can appreciate that. They're uncomfortable sometimes, sweaty. They leave a little mark on my forehead. I've got a beautiful head of hair, and who really wants to cover up that, right? Because this is about looking good, not compliance, right? And you're going to say, unfortunately, yeah, the company has a compliance policy. I don't know if you know this or not, but in our operations manual, it says the captain will ensure that the crew members are prepared for flight and properly dressed. Yeah, so it's my responsibility. So I'm not asking you to wear your hat for your sake, although you probably should because it is policy, but I have to comply with enforcing the policy. See, I'm the one who has to say, yes, we're going to land with the gear down today, not up, right? Because it's my authority and my responsibility. The same thing, I'm charged with the same thing of having you properly dressed. So if you have your hat, you're going to wear a hat during the time you're with me. If you don't have your hat, let's go down to the chief pilot's office. I'm sure we can find you a hat. Try to solve it that way. But if they're willfully non-compliant, if in fact in your operating manual you have the responsibility of ensuring they're properly dressed, which almost every airline has that, you need to make them comply, and you got to help them, and you're going to have to tell them something like, look, the passengers deserve to see a very professional pilot. Some people will wonder, if you're not able to wear a uniform, how are you even able to fly the aircraft properly? If you can't comply with uniform policy, how are you complying with safety policies? This is compliance with our appearance is a way we show management, our subordinates, our superiors, and our customers that we are compliant with every regulation that we can possibly remember, right? So you need to do that for me. Okay, that's what you're going to say as a captain. Try to locate the item and give it to them so they can wear them. Lend it to them, but you are going to continue the operation. So it comes to this. The interviewer says, "Well, yeah, they're non-compliant. You've told them that, but they still don't have it. They don't have their hat, and so are you going to really take this flight in front of the public for 5 days?" All these flights and have them not wear a hat? And you're going to say, yeah, I am going to do that because I'm not going to delay our passengers, inconvenience our passengers, our customers, and as well our fellow employees and our company, and suffer revenue losses because a single individual cannot wear their hat. This is really not a direct safety item, and I'm going to continue to point in time where I can get that hat replaced on that individual, and that is that. But we are not going to suffer revenue losses or customer inconvenience or employee inconveniences over simply because the guy doesn't have the right color tie, didn't bring his jacket, or doesn't have his hat. Now, if when I get to your company and you insist on me delaying flights and canceling flights over a hat, believe me, I'm willing to do that. But at my present company, we do not do that policy. Okay, let's see if follow company policy. Now, if you get a subordinate that you're trying to encourage to wear a complete uniform, it's a lot like compliance with any other regulation. You're just going to have to say, look, we are all here to comply with the company's policies and procedures. Wearing our uniform is. I have to have a promise to you that next time you show up, you're going to be compliant. Otherwise, I'm going to report this up the chain of command. And you don't want that over such a small item. Okay, so as in any policy, if you have someone who is willfully non-compliant, you are going to have to stop them and report up the chain of command. Now, in this case, it's a soft stop. It's basically show up next time with it, or you're going to have to make a promise to me that you show up next time. And of course, if they don't, if you're in their presence again and they don't, you report up the chain of command. Because an individual that willfully does not comply with small things is just not stable enough for the airline the airline environment, and I would be heavily suspect of their character if they're not willing to comply with such a small request from the company. Okay, that's it. That's the answer to the question. Thank God you're tuned to AirJobBoss TV. If you want to know more about my one-on-one preparation, you can click the link below at AirJobBoss.com. And by all means, before subscribing to any service I have, you can contact me at info@AirJobBoss.com, and I will be glad to go over your qualifications and your needs and the service I provide. Thank you so much. See you next time.